Talking about China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, and we have a little problem here, and that is the Biden family. Joe Biden said to this country repeatedly during your 2020 election that he never once spoke with his son, Hunter, about his foreign business dealings.
Yeah.
Now, then we have Joe on tape bragging that he leveraged $1 billion taxpayer dollars to get a prosecutor fired in Ukraine.
Right.
Okay, and as a result, son of a bee, they fired him. And then Hunter continued to get paid. Hunter goes on Good Morning America. I have no experience in oil, gas, energy, or Ukraine. Why are they paying you all that money? He actually said, I don't know. I mean, a 50-year-old man. Okay, here's my bigger question, though. Now we know about the WhatsApp message, which said, I am sitting here with my father. And we now have photographic evidence. We have times and places of meetings of Joe and Hunter and foreign business partners all meeting. And they have found all of these bank accounts. James Comer is now saying it's up to 30, maybe $40 million in business, the Biden family. I want an answer to this question. Do you believe, with all the millions that they did in business with China and Russia and Ukraine and Kazakhstan and Romania and Mexico and all these countries, is that why Russia got the Nord Stream 2 pipeline? Is that why there were no consequences for the spy drone that China sent, or their hostility towards our Navy and Air Force?
So
are they compromised?
I think no question about it. Look, you have China paying millions of dollars just that one conversation, which sounded like a mobster conversation.
Within
extortion.
a week.
They got $5 million. Then they got another 5.2 million, I guess, from the same group. So they got 10.2 million. That comes from China. And that's only one that they've covered so far. I understand they have much more than that.
That's the energy giant.
And what about Ukraine? So we've given, and we want to help people. We have a heart. We got to help people too. But we're in for almost $200 billion in Ukraine, and Europe is in for $20 billion. Why are we? And you know, Europe is essentially the same size as us in the economy if you add it all up. Europe and the U.S. are about the same size. Why isn't Europe in for 200 or more than us? Why aren't they in? They're affected much more than us because nobody asked them. You know, I asked them for the money for NATO because the U.S. was paying for NATO. And Europe, by the way, treats us very badly on trade. Not so much anymore, but that's going to change because they're back to their old ways. But why aren't they? I got hundreds of billions of dollars for these countries by asking. All I had to do was ask. I asked. They said, are you going to protect us from Russia? I said, are you delinquent? They said, let's assume we were. I said, I will not protect you from Russia. And then the money started pouring. And we got hundreds of billions of dollars coming in, and they were very happy. But look at Ukraine, where Hunter's getting hundreds of thousands a month, and like I guess, from what they say, a $3 million upfront payment to sit in an energy company, and he knows nothing about energy. The debate. So I had a debate, and Chris Wallace, who was terrible, he sure is not his father. He's not the great Mike Wallace. He wants to be, but he doesn't have the talent. But Chris Wallace is terrible. And I mentioned to him that why is the mayor of Moscow's wife paying the Biden family $3.5 million? And he said, you shouldn't ask that question. I said, why not? And Joe was trying to answer it, but he couldn't answer it. It wasn't going well. And Chris Wallace cut me off. He said, you shouldn't. I said, I have two people I'm debating, not one. The one I definitely don't mind. But Chris Wallace, how's he doing lately, Chris Wallace? Not too good. Not too good. Like two people are watching his show. But here's the story. So Russia's giving them massive amounts of money. Ukraine's giving them massive amounts of money. And China's giving them massive amounts of money. And then there are many other countries also. It's horrible. It's horrible. They're compromised. Joe Biden is a compromised president. And you know what? Until I got indicted, I had such respect for the office of the president. I didn't want to say things. I would do numbers on him, and you know, but not like this.
You actually yelled at me once for being too tough on him.
No, I thought you were joking too much. I thought you should take it seriously because I think it's a very serious problem. I talked about Joe and his he's a cognitive mess. Everyone agree?
Yeah. You know, so
No, but Sean was making sort of comedy out of it, and I said, honestly, Sean, it's a serious problem because we're in the nuclear age, and we have a man in charge of our country.
You were right.
Who doesn't have a clue. And I said, there's nothing funny about it. And I did tell him that.
There is nothing funny.
And he sort of changed a lot. And by the way, this man's doing very well on television. I don't know if you watch ratings, but his ratings are very good. I'll have to. Because he never says, I always say, why don't you take a commercial saying how successful your show is, how good your ratings are? Nah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But he's a good man, and he loves this country, I can tell you. But they are compromised. Sean, we have a compromised president. China gives him millions of dollars. If he's given Biden millions of dollars, he's compromised. Now, that's only the stuff they found. There's a lot of other things, and there'll be some things that you never find, but there's a lot of other things. So he's getting millions of dollars illegally from China, and then you say, hey, they impeached me over a phone call that was perfect. Why aren't they impeaching Biden for receiving tens of millions of dollars? Why isn't he under impeachment?
Yeah. I know we're at a point where 60-some-odd% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
In my early adult life, I lived paycheck to paycheck. I could barely pay my rent. That was for a number of years. I know what it's like. It's not fun. We have the average American now has $54,000 in debt. Biden inflation has cost the average American household over $10,000 a year. We can't afford this, on top of $37 trillion in debt. How quickly and what would you do to get this economy turned around?
It'll go so quickly. Number one, I'm closing that border like I had it. We had the best border ever. And by the way, I think you all agree. We want people to come into our country, but we want them to come in legally. We had a good system. They were taking tests. We want people that love our country, not people that want to blow up our shopping centers and our farms. So I want people, but I would make our border so strong and get off the criminals. We have many criminals in our country now that weren't here 3 years ago. I will get them out. ICE and Border Patrol.
Burden on the economy.
I will drill, baby, drill. You know the expression, drill, baby, drill. We'll get energy way down. When energy comes down, inflation's going to come down.
All right, more with our town hall. We're in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, with Donald Trump straight ahead. Hey.